Okay, so the Rugby League Pacific Championships, Tonga Samoa has just finished at Suncorp Stadium. There was a lengthy lightning delay midway through the second half, which lasted for an hour and a half. We had lightning, rain, hail, high winds, and there was a point, and I was watching the Fox League feed on the Watch NRL website, but there was a point in commentary when they were saying, that they were close to abandoning the match with 20 minutes left to go. Now, Samoa have won the game 34 points to 6. I was really surprised with how poor Tonga were from the opening whistle to the final whistle. Samoa were 12-0 up at half-time. It was 16-0 when the game was paused due to the adverse weather conditions. And as soon as play resumed an hour and a half or so later, Samoa didn't miss a beat. Tonga could not get going. Admittedly, Tonga do get that consolation try right at the end, but from the very first set through to the final whistle, Samoa won the physicality. They looked more physical. And I was expecting a close, tight game, a lot of physicality, but Samoa just, in my opinion, they were more physical, more energetic. They had a better kick chase, better organisation. They were better disciplined, although Francis Molo, he could be missing their next game, or the Utakamanu concussion. I mean, that we shall see if he plays in 2 weeks' time. Itakamano left the field, Category 1. That was after just 2 minutes, but that set the tone. That set the tone, quite honestly. And then you just look at how Samoa they were comfortable. I was really surprised with how poor Tonga were in this game. But Isaac Tango gets the first try on 8 minutes. I think this season was not his best season for Penrith. By Penrith's high standards, I think he had an off season a little bit. He did struggle at times this season, but he played exceptionally well for Samoa today and fully deserved his try after 8 minutes and was still actively, as the game went on, actively involved in build-up play, dummy running, and in attack. His shape with the players on the inside and whatever player or players are on the outside, that the partnership he had formed with Murray Talangi as well, I think, has definitely grown with this Samoa setup. They've got a very good partnership as centre and winger, and he deserved his try. He did deserve his try. That was on after 8 minutes. Now, Blaise Talangi could not convert that, but he does slot a penalty on 18 minutes. And then it's the Jeremiah Nanai show. I mean, he is a brilliant forward. He's an absolutely fantastic player. His first try in 28 minutes. I mean, that kick chase, that handling, and to control the ball and bring the ball in one-handed and to score was absolutely fantastic. He's really good in the loose in regards to kick chase, kick pressure, and when a player's on the receiving end trying to receive the ball, pressurising them, pressurising the receiver and shutting down. But that run through for the kick, he's called for that, and brilliant handling skills. Absolutely fantastic handling skills. That was on 28 minutes. That makes it 12-0 because Talagi converts it 'cause it's basically under the post. And I felt like Samoa had more to give. I mean, they could have had more, if we're being honest. They were dominating Tonga physically. They were dominating the possession, the territory. And they were the ones dictating the intensity of the game. Tonga were struggling to get out of their half on their sets, whereas Samoa were making more meters, more post-contact meters. And it was much the same after half-time. I mean, Nanai scores again after 46 minutes. And it's at this point, it's just like Samoa haven't switched off, but Tonga haven't switched on. And it was getting worrying that it was going to be one-way traffic. They were 16-0 up. They haven't really been challenged at this point. Tonga aren't out of the game. It just needs one moment of magic for a momentum swing. They just couldn't get it. And then Iongi with the bombed no try, when they actually finally got some momentum going, and they broke through. That was poor by Iongi, really, dropping that ball, because that would have been a massive momentum swing. That was a moment where Tonga had finally got a little bit of forward momentum. Were finally, actually making some serious meterage in their sets. And Well, it was 16-0 as an opportunity, and that would have been 16-6. And they bombed that one. And I think that was a big moment in the game. It was at that point the rain did start, and then it didn't start as heavy rain at first. It was just starting to rain a little bit, and then the lightning strike within, I think it has to be within 5 kilometres or less. That was the moment. Players go off. That was around 60 minutes. We didn't know how long the delay was going to be. We have seen some other rain delays as well in the NRL this season. So it's not unheard of. It is rare, but it's not unheard of. We have seen some rain delays this season. But it lasted an hour and a half. We had rain, hail, lots more lightning, strong winds. The pitch started to flood. Now, the drainage did hold up when the rain eased off. It was able to drain. However, there were concerns that the match may not resume at this point. So it took an hour and a half of a rain delay. You add on an extra 10-15 minutes for the players to warm up. So it was a good hour and 45 minutes between players going off, players coming back on. I would think to resume play, and straight away Samoa picked up where they had left off. Murray Tuilagi gets his try in 61 minutes, and then the Payne Haas try. I mean, they were smashed up the middle. Absolutely, they were bashed up the middle. They were physically dominated, which did surprise me. I thought this would be a very even contest where both sides would give it toe to toe, but Samoa from the get go were more in your face, more aggressive. They'd shown a really good performance, in my opinion, against New Zealand. They were unlucky to lose that game. They should have won that game. And then Chanel Harris-Tavita, you can see in the build-up, several passes before he receives the ball, he's calling for that. He's already identified the mismatch, similar to Payne Haas. He's identified the mismatch, and he scores as well in 75 minutes. Now, Tolo Kola does score. Talatau Kola scores his consolation try on 78 minutes for Tonga. I think that would annoy the Samoans because they wanted to keep them to nil. Obviously, that points differential could prove crucial because Tonga obviously got to play New Zealand next week, and Tonga have got a they've got to play a miracle game and have a record win against New Zealand to make the final. Samoa, I mean, in the 2 games they've played, they were unlucky against New Zealand. I think they should have won that game. I do honestly believe that. If Murray Tuilagi had been a little bit more spatially aware, and I do mean that, if he'd kept in field rather than just touching that touchline, Samoa would have won against New Zealand, then won this. I mean, I will say this about Samoa. I find it amazing that since the Rugby League World Cup final against Australia, this is their first Test match win. I do find that amazing that it's taken them this long to get a win, 3 years. But the 2 games they've played, unlucky against New Zealand, but they were so dominant against Tonga. It was. They were more dominant against Tonga than Australia were against England yesterday. That was a dominant performance, and I think New Zealand are going to have to play at their best to beat the Samoan side in the final in 2 weeks, because I can't see Tonga, with the way they played, beating New Zealand. I just can't see it. Unless New Zealand have a real off day and Tonga put on a record scoreline, which I cannot see with how they've played, I think this is Samoa's to lose now. I really do. Even though Tonga are probably going to lose against New Zealand or not win by enough points, I can't see Samoa losing this Pacific Cup this year. That was a fantastic performance by the boys in blue. Really disappointed with Tonga, but we shall see what they come up with next week. And will Francis Molo be playing in 2 weeks' time? Because I think he's looking at a potential suspension. In saying that, and I will go back, we could talk about some of the issues last week in the New Zealand Samoa game, with some head contact and players only, getting fines. So that will be interesting. But from me for now, thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts on the game in the comment section below. Fantastic performance from Samoa, and I'll have some more content for you all very, very soon.